Imagine knowing exactly which company visited your website. And more than that, knowing the exact person that was scrolling through your website page literally just now. If you're like most people, you would just simply assume that website visitors are totally anonymous unless they fill in a form, for instance, on your website, or maybe they book in a demo with your sales team. But what if I told you that in reality, there is a way to identify most of your website visitors, automatically qualify them for your ideal client profile, and more than that, put them into any sort of email automation or lead generation workflow that you already set up before? That's right, that's exactly what I'll be talking to you about in this video and how you can pull that off. But before we proceed, I just want to show you how I use this on a day-to-day basis. So essentially, you can see I've got a Slack channel over here, and every single time when someone visits my website, I basically get a Slack notification over here which states the name of the company they visited, the seniority or the role of the person that visited it, and specifically whenever it identifies the individual. So for instance, in this case, it was Dale from this random company over here. It provides me with their email address and LinkedIn profile. And simply put, it's 100% legal. It's 100% compliant. So you're not breaking the law by doing this. And essentially, this just enables you to capture any website's visitors and to be able to de-anonymize who they are based on the pixels. So if you think about it, I assume the way it works is it just picks up on what LinkedIn account that person is linked into at the time, what Gmail inbox they're logged into at the time of visiting a website. And basically there you are, there you have it. You have the contact details, you have the company details. You work so hard to generate traffic for your website only to then not even know who the hell is visiting your website, what pages they're visiting, and more than that, you're probably not retargeting and recontacting them after they visit your website in the first place. So for that reason, I think this is super cool. Just to show you an example of how I use it, I don't really action any of this data inside of Slack, but what I do action it in is inside of this Clay table. So I have one Clay table for my agency, I have one for my course, and you can see over here, this is just like an example. And typically when we find someone who is a perfect ICP fit, we just reach out with the more personalized notes, because a lot of the time, if you're selling like higher ticket items, like we are with our service agency, it makes sense to reach out manually as well. But you can fully automate the process inside of Clay, of course, on top of that. But it's just an example of how I use it. But essentially, here's what you need to know as the high level summary. When you sign up for this tool, you would install a pixel on your website. You will change your terms and conditions to make sure that whoever visits the website basically has to click to accept the cookies when visiting the website. This platform called Knock2 will basically identify the website visitor. After that, they will qualify the lead based on a specific ICP criteria. So that could be based on their job title, industry, geography, anything of that sort, whatever your ICP criteria is. And then based on that, you can action this data however you want. Just to give you a quick insider look into what this looks like for me, over here, if I click onto my contact section, I can see a list of people who visited my website recently. And then on the right-hand side over here, I have the option to push them into my HubSpot, Salesforce, Slack, Outreach. It's also got native integrations with platforms like Clay, which I'll talk about in a second. And the crazy part, it literally takes probably 5 minutes to set this up, maybe 10 minutes at most to really set this up, especially if you're in the lead generation space and you're setting this up on behalf of clients. Could be a low-hanging fruit, which enables you to just capture a bunch of website traffic, and you don't really need to generate new leads yourself. It just basically just does it on autopilot in the background, right? Every time that someone visits the website. So the platform that I'm going to be talking about here is Knock2. I know there are a couple of other competitors in the market. The most famous one is probably B2B. But when I tried B2B before, it tended to be that I get a lot less people captured as leads and less leads identified. So I think Knock2 is just able to identify a lot more people than B2B for whatever random reason. The best thing here is that it's super quick to set up. It has ICP scoring, which I'll show you in a second. You basically also get your people and accounts enriched. So in other words, you can always see that it's got like the domain, it's got the email addresses, it's got the LinkedIn profiles, all of that good stuff, which of course just saves us the time of having to run numerous enrichments inside of Clay or whatever platform where you need to find the email or LinkedIn profile. Like all of that is done for us already. So you don't need to spend like Clay credits on that afterwards. And it's pretty fast to just activate all of this information and push it into HubSpot, Salesforce, all that stuff as well. I guess you're not here for that. You're just here to have a look at this tool and see how you could go about setting this up for yourself. So essentially, assuming you sign up for a Knock2 account, all you would need to do is head over to the contact section over here. And here, all you need to do is just explain it in plain English, as it says, and AI will automatically score each account based on the ICP criteria that you mentioned. So you can just copy and paste your criteria here. You can copy and paste your buyer personas here. enable ICP scoring, and then click on save at the bottom here. I'm not doing that because I found that for the service and for the education business that I run right now, it's not that necessary because literally anyone could be open to learning or implementing a tool like Clay. So it's very hard to box it into a specific ICP. But you can do that both on the accounts level over here. You can do that on the contacts level. So all you would do is just click on ICP here as well, type in whatever buyer personas and company types once again. And naturally after that, you would already be automatically capturing the companies and the people are visiting your website. So what you would need to do is set up a workflow. I've got one workflow set up so far. It's super straightforward. All you would need to do here is click on create. I'll just then type in whatever the name of the workflow is. So I'll just call this YouTube 1. You can click on continue. You can select what type of data you want to be fed into this workflow. In my case, I only want to capture contacts. I don't care about companies. So click on continue, no filters, continue. Immediately you want this workflow to be triggered. And over here, the output will be a webhook. So let's just try this out, create new webhook. And essentially what will happen is the webhook will arrive over here. So if I just give you an example, if I click on plus over here, import and run, all I'll have to do is just copy this webhook URL, push it straight over here into Knock2, give this a name. So I'll just call it YouTube. And over here, I'm just now going to click on continue straight away. Just review this really quickly, click on create. And there we are. We've got an automatic workflow. So you can see over here, I installed this tool about 3 months ago or so. In those 3 months, I was able to identify 326 contacts, which in my opinion is worth it because a lot of the time when I see the kind of people that visit my website, it tends to be people that either book in calls or they fit my ICP. I do think that if you're watching this video, you need to be aware that for this kind of tool to work for you, you probably need to have hundreds of website visitors every month, at least. So maybe like 200, 300, 500, preferably in the thousands in order for you to get great ROI from this tool. For me personally, I find it fascinating every single time, like the dopamine spike of checking out the Slack channel to see who is visiting my website. And a lot of the time by just sending like a manual message to the folks that visit my website, I get a far better reply rate simply because I don't feel like I need to fully automate the email outreach to them. But should you wish to automatically email them, you can upgrade to a more expensive plan by just clicking on campaigns over here. And you can see you just basically need to email their team and they'll give you access to that feature, I think, by upgrading your plan. As a quick summary, you will just basically set up a webhook inside of Clay. You'll click on that workflow, you'll create a workflow inside of Knock2. And then after you determine what your qualifiers are for accounts and contacts, this will automatically trigger that automation of. Now, if you head over to settings and you click on Slack over here, you will also be able to automatically sync Knock2 together with your Slack account. So all you would need to do is click over here on connect Slack account, and then straight away you should be able to connect your Slack account into Knock2. So you can automatically get notification pings similar to these ones over here. And you can see I just got one new message with another website visitor, which I'm over the moon about. Knock2, as any website de-anonymization tool on the market, can only work in the US market. Don't ask me why. I guess it's because in Europe we have all of these fancy policies like GDPR, which prohibit us from de-anonymizing website visitors and all that good stuff. Oh, and one last thing. It's been around a week since I recorded this video for the first time, and it took me just over 7 days of trying to persuade Knock2, and finally I got you a 2-week extended free trial with the platform. So all you need to do is head over to Knock2 website. I'll make sure to put a link down below underneath the video so you can check out the link, which will give you a 2-week free trial of the platform so that you can get as many website visitors captured as possible in those first 2 weeks. And on top of that, after that, I could also negotiate a discount for you over here. But typically their starting plan starts at $149 a month. But once again, if you're inside of the Knock2 Clay community, the chance I can probably get you a great discount on this one as well. Now, if you have any more video suggestions of what I should record in the future, do let me know. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.